Is a bit too tight. I have another case on that day. Why don't you push it over to Friday?
At 2 p.m.
My son has a dog bite on his butt.
Your son attacked my Bruno, and he got what he was asking for.
I beg your pardon?
Oh my God, you didn't hear me? Need I remind you that trespassing is a punishable offense?
You arrogant, self-centered, conceited, obnoxious, narcissistic.
Quit the synonyms and vocabularies and go straight to the point where you call me a jack. I'm a jack, I know it, and I don't care.
Your dog attacked my son.
Bruno.
Bruno, huh? Your dog.
His name is Bruno. Next time, I take an offense when you refer him as a dog.
But he's a dog.
He's Bruno. Bruno. How many times must I correct you?
Godless. He ate my chicken, attacked my son, and all you care about is his name, the dog's name.
Simple. Your son attacked my Bruno. My Bruno beat him. Same way if you attack me, I'll hit you.
Is that a threat?
Common sense, which apparently is very uncommon.
Uncommon with me. Now, you're calling me stupid.
Nope, I'm just making a statement.
Huh?
Perhaps we should break this off.
Bartholomew,
why are you causing fracas? This is a courtroom.
You should listen to your lawyer. She has sense.
Hold, officer.
are you looking for a fist fight here?
You pissed me off.
Your dog beat his son, and there are repercussions to that.
His son trespassed.
The hearing is on Friday at 2 p.m. Keep time.
I'm a cultured man, I'll keep time.
Actually, I am packing up. Yeah, it's one of those rare days that I get to leave the office in good time. Alright. So give me about an hour so I can go home, shower, get dressed. Yeah? City, I have to go. See you in an hour.
Make that 3 hours. I need this looked into. I want it the first thing in the morning.
I've just made dinner plans.
Unplan them. Have you made the reservations?
It's a date.
With or without dinner reservations?
Without, I guess.
Oh.
What does the "oh" mean?
A restaurant where reservations are not made is not worth a disappointment.
It's not just about the dinner.
See you in the morning.
Yeah, thanks. Hi, Nathan. I'm so sorry. Something's come up.
This is a straightforward case where the defendant's negligence is glaring. It is plain and simple. We will demonstrate to you how the defendant was negligent in allowing his dog to injure the plaintiff's son. The vicious dog.
Bruno. His name is Bruno.
Okay. Bruno mauled the plaintiff's son because it was not restrained. The dog... Sorry. Bruno first attacked the neighbor's chicken, making a meal out of it. When the sons were on a rescue mission to save the chicken from the dog, that's when they became its next victim, because he interfered with its meal.
He's an he, not it.
Stop it. Stop it.
Do you have a problem, Mr.
Larry Lima.
Yes, Mr. Lima?
Yes, I take it offense when Bruno is being referred to an it as it is a he. And I was under the impression that this council here would make sense and distinguish between an he and an it.
I get the impression that this whole setting is strange to you. Now, this is how it works. This is my court. And in here, I make the rules. No one moves unless I tell them to. No one speaks unless I ask them to. I take offense when anyone interrupts my sessions. And when that offense is taken, there are consequences. Are we clear on that?
Yes, Your Lordship.
The city council laws are clear on that if a dog...
Let's go back to when the dog was having its...
Right. While the dog was having its lunch, and by lunch I mean the plaintiff's chicken, that's when the first son was on a rescue mission to save the chicken from the dog, and that's when he was viciously attacked. The city council bylaws are clear on that if a dog attacks a man, it is to be put down. It also follows that the owner is responsible for the dog or the damages caused by the dog. In this case, Larry Lima is responsible for the injuries caused by the dog on the plaintiff's son and the dead chicken. I rest my submissions.
Defense?
This case is about trespass coupled with provocation. The chicken owner and his children knew that a neighbor had a dog, Bruno, a German Shepherd. The neighborhood knew not to mess with a dog, especially a German Shepherd. I mean, they are known to be very fiercely protective and intelligent by nature. Now back to the case. The neighborhood knew that Mr. Larry Lima had an umbokali in his property, and they would never enter his property without his presence at any given time. And for 3 years, the children knew this. Unfortunately, Bruno ate the chicken.
The dog.
Beg your pardon?
Refer to it as the dog.
Okay, the dog ate the chicken. Now the chicken ought to have been in its chicken house, right? The child was beaten by the dog, but should not have jumped over the fence, thus provoking the attack. If neither the children or the chicken had trespassed, Bruno, the dog, would not have attacked them. I mean, that is how simple this case is. And it should be dismissed without any further ado.
Now that is out of the way, call in your witnesses.
Bartholomew Tinder.
Bartholomew never realized Sunday that old. It takes us back to the day of John the Baptist.
And there will be no bickering in my court.
Joy kill.
What did you say, Miss Salima?
Your Lordship, my client is very sorry.
He is not. But he will be if he continues interrupting my sessions.
Yes.
Good. And speak only when you are spoken to. Zip it. Now, do you understand? Zip it.
We've been neighbors for 3 years now after he moved into the house that is right adjacent to mine.
How has your relationship been with him?
Not neighborly. He does not associate with anybody and he never even attends neighborhood meetings. He goes everywhere with his dogs carrying people around, especially the children. No one in the estate can dare get close to him because of the fear the dog would attack them.
Any more word from you, you'll be in contempt of court.
Do you rear chicken in your backyard?
No, just kashushu. Kashushu was a gift from my mother, their grandmother. She gave it to us 3 months ago when it was just a few weeks old. It was a gift to Paulo for his birthday that is coming up this month. So we were keeping it for that special occasion.
Oh. And do you have a chicken coop?
Nope.
Own a pet?
Nope.
What happened the day your son was attacked by your neighbor's dog?
My 2 sons, Daudi and Paulo, they are 6 and 8, were out on the backyard playing basketball. I recently bought them a ring so that they can do some practice on. During the day, we let the chicken free to roam about the compound. A little exercise, you know. I don't know how Kashushu got to the other side. I was reading the paper when I heard Kashushu screeching and running in fear. I assumed the boys were trying to catch it to take it back into her house. Finally, it squawked loudly in distress. And I heard my sons shouting that the dog was killing Kashushu.
What happened next?
I ran outside the house. Then I saw the boys climb the fence, jumping over to Larry's house, rushing to save Kashushu. Daudi kept on shouting that the dog was biting Kashushu and blood was gushing out. They had to hurry to save her. I tried to stop them from jumping over to the other side because I knew how vicious the dog was on the other side of the fence. But I was too late. I heard the dog's violent bark and my son screaming for his dear life. He cried for me to help him. He screamed so loudly that the entire neighborhood heard him. I was unable to jump over the fence, so I ran out to the main gate and started banging on the gate to draw the dog's attention to me away from my son. While I was there, I saw my other son, Daudi, running around and screaming. He was so frightened. Then I saw the dog bend over Paulo and his teeth in him. Goodness, I nearly collapsed. Paulo was so mortified. He was in so much pain that he couldn't scream any longer. He just stared at me like some kind of a zombie. He was in shock, complete shock.
And were you able to get through the gate to get your son in good time?
No. It was at that time when the owner of the crazy dog came out of the house and whistled some command at it, and it let go of my son. Then, as though nothing has happened, the dog went back to Kashushu, who was already dead, and started devouring her. Larry just stood there, did nothing. He let the dog go back into eating our chicken as he opened the gate for us to pick our sons. By then, the entire neighborhood had known all what had happened. My friend Zachary was also present. He brought his car and we took Daudi and Paulo to hospital.
Did Larry Lima say anything?
No, not a word. He wouldn't even say sorry. No apology, no concern over my boy. No concern at all. He just stood there as we carried our injured sons out of his compound. He stood there cuddling his dog. No one would dare say or do anything. Very cold of him.
Did your son get adequate treatment?
Yes, he did, but he has now developed a phobia for dogs, even if they are on TV.
Did you establish contact with Larry after the incident?
Not directly, but through the estate committee. They asked to speak to him, gave him a call, sent him a letter asking for a meeting regarding the incident.
Did he respond?
No.
Did he attend the meeting?
Nope.
Nothing?
Nothing. He did not give a damn that a child was about to be killed by his dog. He just did not care. That's how a narcissistic psycho he is.
Nothing further.
You have been a neighbor to my client, Larry Lima, for 3 years, you say?
Yes.
And you knew he had a ferocious, no-nonsense dog?
Everybody knew that.
Is that the reason why there was a fence in between the two houses?
The fence was put up by the developer.
What type of a fence is it?
It is a concrete fence.
How high is it?
About 5 feet 5, I presume.
5 feet 5. That's quite high. Now, any idea how your chicken might have jumped over the fence?
I have no idea.
Is it possible that maybe your sons threw it over?
No, they wouldn't. They already knew about the dog and how vicious it is.
Then how possible is it that your chicken jumped over the fence into the other compound?
Are you blaming the chicken for its own death?
No. I'm blaming you. If the fence is always secure, if the chicken was always in its hen house, then your chicken would not have jumped over the fence and got killed. If your children would not have jumped over the fence, they would not have been beaten.
My son was about to be killed by his dog. What if he died? What if the dog killed him?
But he didn't die.
But he was beaten.
Only because he jumped over into an area that is protected by a German Shepherd.
So what? My son's life was at stake.
The dog is trained to restrain and not to kill. Besides, if your son had jumped over the fence...
He's a child. His instincts led him into saving the chicken.
Which brings me to my point exactly. You are responsible for not ensuring that your chicken was safe and secure in your own compound.
Damn it. Do you know that that man couldn't give a damn even if a person was injured by his dog?
Your son was beaten in his compound, and not yours, and not the estate playground. Your son was beaten in his compound. Your chicken was killed in his compound. Am I right? Bartholomew Tinda. Am I right?
Now, what do you want me to say, huh? What do you want me to say? That you're right? That my chicken trespassed? That my son trespassed? Yes, you're right. Now get out of my face. My son did not deserve to be beaten by a German Shepherd. Trespassing or not, military dogs should stay in the military, not in residential areas where children's lives are at stake.
I am the chairman of the estate committee.
What is the role of the estate committee?
Our estate comprises mostly of homeowners. And as homeowners, we wanted our estate run in certain ways. The committee's primary concern is security, cleanliness, and exterior designs, landscaping, and also settling disputes in the neighborhood. Our policy is to provide safe and secure environment for us and our children.
When I visited your estate, I noticed you have a recreational center.
Yes, we have a clubhouse with a playground, with swings and rides. There is a swimming pool and a fully equipped gym. We would like our children and us, of course, to live in good health and shape.
Are there people employed to take care of the children in the recreational center?
Oh, yes. We have 3 lifeguards at the swimming pool. The gym has 5 instructors, and the playground has 2 assistants. We do also encourage the parents to always ensure that their children are accompanied. To top that up, we have 2 guards working around the hour. There is round-the-clock surveillance. The kids are safe there.
I'd feel very safe living in that estate.
As I said, security is our primary concern.
What is the cost of this tight security?
Each household pays $2,500 for the maintenance of the amenities and security.
Does Larry Lima pay for this fee?
No. When he moved in, we welcomed him and naturally informed him of the fee and the security protocols. He told us he was not interested. He also refused to pay.
So what you're telling me, Chairman, is that for 3 years, Larry Lima has been living in the estate, and he certainly did not, and intentionally did not did not pay for security and social amenities.
Yes.
How is his relationship with his neighbors?
Objection, Your Honor. Larry Lima's relationship with the neighbors and the committee has no bearing whatsoever to this case.
Larry Lima has been unkind, inconsiderate, and obnoxious. He's been one hell of a nuisance to the point that his neighbors want to kick him out. His antisocial behavior has been the genesis of this case.
Your Honor, is this case a conspiracy to kick out my client from his own house?
If it's going to make the estate a better place to live, so be it.
Larry Lima is a private person, and that does not make him a bad person.
His antisocial behavior is injurious to the well-being of his neighbors.
Just because Larry Lima does not have a smile or does not smile at his neighbors, I mean, Your Honor, this is a hate case in the form of profiling, which is aimed at kicking out anybody who's not endowed with a smile enough so that they can go around smiling at their neighbors.
Surely there is no need to focus on his attitude or character or lack of it. I mean, it's quite clear that he has been a pain in the flesh of his neighbors. Get on with the facts.
So, let us recap on the day Paulo was beaten by the dog.
I heard the boy cry and scream for help. I rushed out to see what was happening to the poor boy. By the time I was out, I saw Bartholomew at Larry's gate, banging it hard as though he wanted to break it. The next thing I saw through Larry's gate was Paulo on the ground with Larry's dog's teeth in him. It was horrible. I rushed. I got my car. The only thing that I had in my mind, ram the gate down and save the child. By the time I got to the gate, the boy had just been released by the dog. We picked the boy in the car and rushed him to the hospital. It was horrible. Horrible.
Have the committee members done anything after the incident? Did they react to that?
We tried to talk to him about it. Sent him letters, made calls. He did not respond. He made no comment, no apologies.
Nothing further.
Nathan, hey. I'm running late as usual. I don't think you should wait. I won't make it at all. I know I promised, but I'm making another promise. I'll call you in about an hour. Okay. Just canceling my lunch plans.
Well, too bad. Duty calls.
Yep.
No, it is a requirement for the owner of the house, not the tenant.
What?
Larry Lima pays rent. It's his landlord, the owner of the house, who is supposed to pay the levies, not the tenant.
But the landlord does not enjoy the amenities we are providing.
Amenities that he did not require, that he was not even consulted about. Furthermore, these are amenities that are supposed to be paid for by the landlord and not the tenant.
Well, I was not aware that he was paying rent.
Then he was not on the wrong for not paying the levies.
But the most intelligent thing to do was to tell the landlord to do the same.
At least we know why he was not paying. Anyway, that's besides the reason why we are here. Don't you agree?
Yes.
Okay. Now, it's 1 a.m. in the night. You are asleep next to your wife, in deep sleep. And then you are jolted out of your sleep with some sound of footsteps outside on your compound. What do?
I would wake up and would go out to find out who it is and possibly confront him.
Not possibly. definitely confront. But anyway, you find out it's an unwelcomed intruder, unknown to you. What do you do next?
I will do the most manly thing to do. I must protect my family.
How?
I would grab my rungu. And
Yes, and hit him on the head or anywhere so that he can be immobilized totally for a couple of hours so that you have some time to protect your family. And of course, you have to protect your family and yourself. Am I right?
Yes.
All right. Please define for me the term trespassing.
It is the intrusion into another person's property.
Intrusion. Intruder. Hold that thought for a moment. Now tell me, what is the purpose or role of a dog?
Protect?
Yes, to protect. The dog guards the property it's been charged to protect. Am I right?
Yes.
Good. Were you aware that the chicken and Bartholomew Tinder's sons had trespassed into my client's Larry Lima's property?
Yeah.
So, if one trespasses into this property and is attacked by the owner of that property, who would be at fault? The owner of the property or the trespasser?
But that question is out of context on what happened that day.
Okay, fine. Let me bring it closer to home. An intruder breaks into your property, and with that rungu, you hit this intruder. All right? And this intruder happens to be Bartholomew's son, Paulo. Now, who will be at fault here for you cracking up his skull?
Objection!
What are you objecting to? Nothing, Father.
You are my hero.
Yeah.
Paulo Tinder was admitted into the emergency room with 2 dog bites, one on the right thigh and the other on the left buttock. The one on the thigh was not as deep as that on the buttock.
And were you immediately able to identify the bite as that of a dog?
Absolutely. It was a canine bite.
What treatment did you give?
I cleaned the wound and then prescribed prophylactic antibiotics for 7 days.
Your Lordship, I'd like to submit the medical report confirming that Bartholomew Tinder was indeed bitten by a dog.
Accepted.
Nothing further.
Wow. You performed over 10 tests just because of a dog bite.
We had to rule out the possibility of an infection.
Then how would an MRI test rule out the possibility of an infection from a dog bite?
We wanted to be sure that...
What were you searching for?
Well, the boy's father was concerned that the bite would cause far-reaching side effects.
So, you perform a full body examination at the cost of my client. Now, what did this cost? The dog bite treatment, inclusive the prescribed medicine?
About 4,000 shillings.
And the current billing, which also was made up of those expensive, unnecessary tests?
Slightly beyond 70,000.
70,000 shillings for a 4,000 treatment. Interesting. Very interesting. Nothing, Father.
Dr. Mgoa, you may step down. Defense, you can call in your first witness.
The defense would like to call in Larry Lima.
Maybe I should lead.
The court would like to hear your side of the story.
Maybe not.
Just a minute, Your Honor. What's the matter?
Call in the next witness.
But you're the next witness.
Call in Susan. The judge doesn't like me. I can't testify.
You're going to hurt my case, and Judge Ibanda is a good judge.
Mr. Kairu,
just a moment.
I have given you enough time.
Your Honor, the defense calls in Susan Tandu. For how long have you worked for my client, Larry Lima?
From the moment he moved to the estate, that's about 3 years.
And how did you get the job?
I was told by the other men in the neighborhood there was someone new, and it looked like they didn't have a house help. So I knocked on his gate asking for a job, and instantly got hired. And for 3 years, I've worked for him.
Would you be kind enough to describe to us his personality?
That is not easy.
What do you mean?
Larry is not your average nice person. He's not very sociable and does not like people. He's different and difficult to understand.
I'm not getting you.
He's basic and to the point. I don't bother you, don't bother me. I don't like you, you don't have to like me. He's not a people pleaser. He does not care whether you approve of him or not. And that's a trait that people find to be odd.
Do you find that weird?
Actually, I admire it. If I had his attitude, I'd be a happier person.
Now, for 3 years, you worked for Larry Lima, and I'm sure you must have noticed his relationship with his neighbors.
Yes, I did. And it bothered me.
What bothered you?
The neighbors, for the longest time, have never liked him. The other men used to tell me they're coming to looking for a way of kicking him out.
Why?
Honestly, I don't know. Or maybe it's because he's not a suck-up to the neighbors like other people do. His life is about his house, his work, and his dog. That's all.
Were you familiar with Bartholomew's sons?
Those naughty boys? I've known them for as long as I started working for Larry. Very cheeky boys. Frankly, I'm not surprised one of them got beaten by Bruno, because almost every day they'll hang over the fence to Larry's compound, tease the dog, throw stones at the dog. Bruno do nothing but bark. During the day, unless Larry's at home, Bruno is on a leash. And those are the times when the boys would tease the dog when it was tied down.
And this would happen on a regular basis?
Yes. Larry even moved Bruno to the other side of the house, away from the fence.
Did Larry ever raise the issue with the son's father, that is Bartholomew?
He never did, but I did. When did he start fooling with Bruno? Unfortunately, I not tied him to his house. So Bruno fought back. He must be the youngest of the boys. Luckily, I was in the house. I stopped Bruno from attacking. Immediately after, I went to speak to Bartholomew, who instead of admonishing his son for fooling with a potentially dangerous dog, scolded at me for not tying him, locking him up. I've never bothered again to speak to him about Bruno and his son.
Is that what you think happened in the occasion that Paolo Tinda was beaten by the dog?
Objection. She was not there.
Withdrawn. Thank you.
Are you still working for Larry Lima?
No.
When did he fire you?
About 4 months ago.
How much did he pay you to testify?
Objection, Your Honor.
Her testimony is obviously coached. She's lying for her former boss.
Objection overruled.
Much obliged, Your Honor. How much did he offer you to pay in fabrications in the courtroom?
I'm not lying about anything.
Did he pay you to guarantee you a job back? Why were you fired?
I broke an expensive flower vase.
What? After working for him for 3 years?
Said it was unique.
Do you want your job back?
No.
So by giving this testimony, it guarantees you your job back?
No.
So you don't want your job back, or do you want your job back?
I do.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Kairu?
Just a moment. Is it your testimony that even after you warning the boys, they would still fool around with Bruno?
Yes.
Now, in the matter of Bartholomew Tinda versus Larry Lima, the court finds for the plaintiff. However, in the circumstances of this case, and appreciating that the minors provoked the dog into the attack, I shall, taking into account the contributory negligence, award a nominal compensation of Kenya shillings 20,000 for pain and suffering. As for the special damages, I find that the claim was exaggerated, and I shall only award Kenya shillings 4,000, which adequately addresses the cost of treatment for the dog bite.
What is the meaning of this? I've spent over 60,000 shillings to treat my son.
All you needed for your son's treatment was Kenya shillings 4,000, which is exactly what you will get back. Now, one thing that the two of you didn't consider is that you are acting in violation of City Council bylaws. And as such, I have taken the liberty to have the City Council informed. Now, neither of you had any license to have animals within your compounds. This matter is referred to the Nairobi City Council, and the two city askaris will carry on from here on. My job here for now is finished. Next case.